Welcome back to part 2 of this 10-inch waveshare e-ink display tutorial, which I'm using as a photo frame for artwork and other black and white images. So if you saw the first video, is basic install of Raspberry Pi. If you already have an install of Raspberry Pi on your card and on the board, you don't have to watch that first video. So if you already got that set up and you're good to go, this video is for you. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so once you've logged into your Raspberry Pi through SSH, the first thing we need to do is get the drivers for your for the display, and you'll find them here at this address. And you use the wget command, which gets a zip file of that particular driver. Okay, now we got to unzip this with tar zxvf and then bcm, hopefully we can tab and get it. There you go. And just go ahead and let it unzip everything, and then there you go. Next thing you're going to do is go into that folder. So cd bcm, go ahead and tab, should fill everything out. Config, and then dot. Once you're in there, dot /config figure. All right, hopefully that's it. Nope, I spelled it wrong. Configure, and it'll go through its process of making everything you need to get working. All right, then make command. And then let's check this. Make sure everything's good to go, no errors. Yay, that's good, everything passed for the most part, and 0 fails, so that's good. And the last command, alright. Now if you're wondering where I'm getting all this information from, it's exactly the same information you're going to get on the documents. You don't have to go through all the documents to find these commands. I'm doing it for you. Okay, so the next command, let's go ahead and get out of here. Let's back out of here back to the home directory, and let's go ahead and get the C code and the demo samples for it. So it's on GitHub, so that means we have to use the git command, git clone, to this address. Okay, now that that's done, let's go ahead and go into that folder that was created. So let's see if that folder's there. It is. It's called IT8951 -epaper. So cd it tab should fill the rest out, and then go to the Raspberry Pi directory. All right. Go ahead and take a look at what we got here. Okay, so with this, the main stuff you want is in the examples folder. So we'll come back out to this directory in a minute, but you need to see what's in the example folder. All right, list directories. Okay, so the main.c, examples.h, and the examples.c, those are the 3 main files that drive this display. However, we're going to be breaking it down, so you only need the main.c. But first, let's back out. All right, make sure we're in the proper directory. Above it, yep, we are. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and do a sudo make clean. Make sure everything's good. There's no file there to remove, so that's good. Then sudo make. All right, and what this is doing is compiling that main.c into an actual program you can run. So now that you've compiled it into a program you can run, you type in sudo.epd. Now, this is where that number on that ribbon we mentioned earlier on the previous video, ribbon was 1.45. Yours might be different, so double check to make sure what your number is, and then 1. Okay, And now at this point, it'll start running its demo on the display. As you can see, it's going through its process of showing the demos. It's grayscale. The next, I believe, is smiley faces. After it clears the screen, resets, and smiley faces. Look at that. And then next after that, the waveshare splash screen. And there it is. So we know that it works. Okay, so now that you know that it works and all the code that you put in working just fine, everything's playing with each other, both hardware, software, and you're ready, you're good to go. So let's start making it into something that you want, like the photo display that this whole project's based off of. All right, so let's get started. If you remember from the last video, I put Samba on the Raspberry Pi so I could easily gain access to it. Well, this is when it comes into play. And for those of you who don't know how to do that, go back and watch my first video. You'll see how, towards the end, you'll see how I put Samba on. It's really simple. So we just got to go to the directory here. So there's our 8x10 frame and our documents. Here's our e-paper, Raspberry Pi examples, and let's go ahead and open up main. All right. So what I'm using is Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio for coding. All right, it's this free app, pretty easy to use, but you can use Notepad++ or whatever flavor of coding software you wish. So let's look at the main code here, and this is, it ain't too bad, but not quite sure what it means. Again, I am not a C coder. Right? I don't know C programs or C code at all. It took me a week or so to kind of wrap my head around it. So what I'm doing is you guys get to benefit from my headaches and sleepless nights. So yeah, there's that. So if anybody out there who knows C and looks at this code and wants to laugh, by all means, I encourage you to take this code, make it a little bit more streamlined, enhance it if you want. I'm more than perfectly happy to show people, give you credit for it, because again, I don't know C. I know Python, I just don't know C. So this is the code I came up with, basically Frankensteining the other codes. All right, I got all the libraries and directories that I need, referencing anything and everything that I could foresee that we would need. This code's pretty simple, and I actually put all this information in here so you know exactly what gets done. All right, this function basically changes the image from the slideshow, and then within this sets the time, path, directory, so you don't have to use the default directory they give you. You can put your own directory path in. I'm just putting it into the default pictures folder, which will be all the way back here into this pictures folder. That's where I'm putting everything. All right, so the other things you want to concern yourself with is this. I put this in. You can display an image every 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 30, 1 hour, etc. And then this activates your main file. There's the main command. It runs through this initialization process, and then it runs your code. Your code, not code, sorry, code. Okay, so there you have it. You have what I've essentially taken 3 groups of long code and condensed it into one file that requires only 300 lines of code. So now let's go ahead and run this. All right, but first we got to find some images to put on. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so this particular waveshare monitor, go ahead and find the pictures folder. All right, so as you can see, I've already started a collection of pictures. Let's just grab a few of these. All right, let's go to Aquaman through Batman here. These few images, and we're going to copy these over. Now this waveshare 10-inch monitor is like 1800 by 1400 pixels. They do make smaller versions of these, like that's not so big in pixel density, but they also are a lot cheaper and quality image may not be as good. I decided to go with the 1800 by 1400 pixel dimensions because I wanted that really nice quality color, and I was willing to pay for it. Okay, now that we have images in here, let's go ahead and replace this main file with my main file. So we can go ahead and delete all of those. I know it might be scary. So we'll go ahead and replace. So now we only need the one. Okay. So now if we write this code again, sudo make clear, sudo make, and then sudo.epd minus 1.45, 1, it'll run through the code and then start displaying those images. So compiling your Python script of the sudo make, clean, sudo make, then the sudo dash blah 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 blah. That's going to get tiresome real quick doing all that. So what we're going to do is write one piece of code that does all that for us, just because I'm lazy and don't really want to have to constantly do that. All right, so let's get to it and I'll show you how to make that. Okay, so here we are back in our terminal window. Before we begin, we got to think about what happens when we restart the computer. We start out at the home directory. So what we want to do is get back to the home directory before we do anything. So cd, the tilde key, which is right next to the 1, and boom, we're here back to the home directory. What we're going to do within this home directory, we're going to go ahead and make a file called a launcher. We're going to create it by going to sudo, superuser, nano, which is the text editing program that we use, and then we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it launcher, cher.sh for shell. Now, because we're in the home directory, all right, when it launches or we come up, when we start the computer up, we need to go to the actual directory of the ePeeper Raspberry Pi where the main files are. CD IT, capital I, capital T, 8951 dash E, capital P, A, P, R, paper, and then Raspberry, S-P-E-E-R-R-Y. All right, we want the shell to go into that directory. Then once we're there, we're going to do our make commands, which are sudo make clean, and then sudo make, and then sudo dot /epd minus 1.451. That's it. X, save it to the buffer, yes. Save it as that name, launcher.sh, yes. So now, clear, all we need to do is run sudo sh launcher, LAU, tab, boom. And it should start this screen over again. Knock on wood, and there we go. It's clearing out, and the first image should pop up, and there we are. So we got this working. Now all I have to do is write just this one piece of code instead of going into this directory, then another directory, write a line of code, line of code, line of code, just to get this started. Now I just have to write one line of code, the sudo sh launcher, that's it. Okay, so now that we have our .sh launcher program or script, so it writes all that code for us, next thing we gotta do is have that launch automatically, that launcher script launch automatically when we start up the Raspberry Pi. So if we need to unplug it and then plug it back in, that script automatically runs once it boots up, and so you don't have to command line in, do all the stuff and try to figure it out. You can just plug it back in and then give it a few minutes and it will start up automatically. So let's do that next. Okay, so here we are back into SSH. As we just learned, if we do sudo sh launcher, and hit that, it runs our command for us and does the whole startup of it runs the command for us and does the whole startup of the picture frame. So this is great. So we know that works. Go ahead and Control C to cancel out of that. So in order to get us to launch when the Raspberry Pi launches from power up, so we go to crontab, C-R-O-N tab, -E. And if this doesn't pop up and something else pops up, just choose nano, and I think it's choice number 1. Okay, I've already put it on this, so what you need to do is type in this command here, @reboot, sudo sh launcher.sh. Again, I'm such a bad speller. I don't know how I passed high school. I did have public education, so that makes sense. So once you've done that, exit, yes, save. Now, let's go ahead and sudo reboot to test this. Reboot, sudo reboot, booyah, and we're going to be closed out. And let's watch the Pi start up. And hopefully, it'll start up the script. Yay, it worked. Okay, there you have it. Long tutorial, and I do apologize for the length, but there was a lot to get through. And as far as I know, this is the only 10-inch display out there, or 10-inch tutorial for e-ink waveshare, specifically getting started on putting something on this thing that is yours and not just running the demo code, because that really doesn't help. Hopefully everyone learned something from this. I'm not a coder in C, and if those of you who are, please take this code and maybe clean it up, streamline it, give it back to the community. Maybe we can start a bigger volume of work with this thing. Who knows? I don't know. But we're all here to learn, and I wish you all the best of luck and good luck in the future, and have a good day, and I'll see you next time.